Nicole Kidman, the queen of streaming television, has a 6-episode murder mystery series on Netflix that I had not gotten around to reviewing yet. So let's talk The Perfect Couple. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for The Perfect Couple. This is based on a 2018 book of the same name, and it is streaming with 6 episodes on Netflix. And I've sort of dubbed Nicole Kidman the queen of streaming television. She does like 2 or 3 streaming shows a year. She also has obviously a very robust movie career. She does like 2 or 3 movies a year, so she's always working, but she's always popping up and in some similar-ish roles as well. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit in this review, but I'm not positive she's full on the star of this, but she is top billed. But there is a huge ensemble cast here of new people and people you will certainly recognize, like Liev Schreiber and Dakota Fanning as well. So we'll get into all this here in a second. First, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a subscriber already for Dan Reviews It, thank you so much for that. I love it when you guys return to check out my content. But if you're not, please consider subscribing and click that notification bell too. That will alert you, of course, for all my new video drops. And liking this video and commenting certainly helps the channel out as well. So I would appreciate that too. All right, so I watched all 6 episodes of this. I binged it in a day. And I don't always do that if I'm not fully feeling it, but I was like 2 or 3 episodes in and I like wasn't quite sold. But at that point, I'm like, all right, well, I've already watched half of this. There's not that much longer. Let's just bang it out and see if my initial instincts were correct about this. They kind of were. My grade after I think those first 2 or 3 episodes is the same as after I watched all 6. But we'll talk about this here. Plot-wise, we have Eve Hewson, who is Bono's daughter from U2. She's been getting a lot of acting gigs lately. She plays the bride about to marry marry into, I should say, one of the wealthiest families on Nantucket, the Winberries. And you have Nicole Kidman playing the matriarch there, a famous novelist named Greer Garrison Winberry. That's a very hoity-toity type name. Liev Schreiber plays the husband, Tag, also very hoity-toity name, soap opera-esque maybe. And you have Billy Howell, who is playing the groom, the son of Kidman and Schreiber's characters. Megan Fahey playing the maid of honor. You also have Michael Beach here as one of the people on the police force investigating this murder because a shocking death derails the wedding, turns everybody into a suspect, and that includes Dakota Fanning as well, who is a pregnant gal involved with the wedding and the family as well. And there's a bunch of other people I won't even mention, but there's a huge, arm's length list of cast members here. All right, so look, the reason that I was not completely sold on this after the first 2 or 3 episodes, and the reason that it sort of stayed that same way is this is a story that we've seen 100 times before. Even the author of this book has written dozens of novels. I'm not sure if they're all murder mysteries or whatever. And I would like to say, well, maybe she was able to flesh the characters out in the book a little more, but this is, a 6-episode series. It's not like a 2-hour movie. There's plenty of time to flesh out these characters. But one issue is there's almost nobody that I even cared about. There's a lot of characters, and some of them get developed, some of them don't really. But in terms of the family members and everybody involved with the wedding, I just didn't really care about any of them. And I can't say the same, I guess, about the police detectives. Like, they were fine. They were kind of stock, but at least they were people you could sort of get behind. They're investigating this murder. Everybody else is just out for one reason or another, whether it's revenge or, oh, are you marrying into this family for money or, X, Y, and Z. The list of issues with this family and the reason everybody does become a suspect is kind of obvious. It's kind of tiresome as well. And the most tiresome thing I think about this, other than maybe the plot, is Nicole Kidman's character. Nicole Kidman has played this, and here's the problem with doing so many of these, streaming things and whatever. She's played this character so many times over the last 4 or 5 years. The icy matriarch of the family, or the icy, mysterious person in charge of the Nine Perfect Strangers, hotel or whatever. Um, Kidman has done a lot of these types of characters for her movies lately and for these streaming services. Streaming services are all about getting these murder mysteries to run, especially if they're based on a popular book. And I've talked about this in some of the other previous videos in which we are adapting a book into a miniseries. And, it's all things that we've seen a ton. But true crime, very popular in terms of podcasting and stuff, and docu-series about true crime on Netflix and stuff are also popular. So, okay, let's give them some fictional murder mystery because, of course, Only Murders in the Building, very popular. High Potential on ABC, very popular. So, look, I know this book came out in 2018. I get that, before some of these shows I'm mentioning. But point being, Kidman has done this character to death. I feel like, no pun intended. And so that didn't bring me in, and I just found her character and Schreiber's character, everybody just so unlikable. I didn't care who committed the murder by the end of the day. And then the other thing is, this gets into real soapy territory as well. And I can't for the life of me tell if that was intentional by the creators or not. I don't know if they were leaning into that sort of vibe on purpose, or whether they just didn't really know that this was leaning into like soapy territory with the lines that were just so over the top and characters that were over the top. I can't tell. Is this a send up, and they're purposely doing this? I don't think so. From just what I the tone of this didn't indicate that to me, which is certainly a negative as well. I can't say it's that much worse than some of the other things we've had in this vein. But my feeling for it after those first couple episodes was the same as it was after watching all six. I felt the exact same. I thought, look, maybe if there was some interesting like twist that, oh my gosh, that person was involved, but by the end of it, I didn't really care either way. So I guess even if there, is some big reveal, which, look, it's a murder mystery, so obviously there's some misdirection. There are some red herrings that don't really go anywhere. Sure, I get that. Comes with the territory. But when you're already not invested, none of those things really get traction either. So look, we will leave it there. Hopefully, Kidman's next project is a little bit better than this. But if you are so interested, this is on Netflix. I leave The Perfect Couple with a D plus. It is an easy binge for one day. I will say that. Would this have been better served? I always ask this question with a show like this where there's 6 or 8 episodes. Would this have been better served as a 2 or 2.5 hour movie? I don't know. I mean, it certainly would have saved time. But would it have been any better? I don't know, because these characters are just so paper thin, and Kidman's done this role too many times. So I will leave it there. Thank you for watching Dan Reviews It. We'll see you next time.